Hi everyone, your girl here, Dana with Day It Forward. Once again, I want to thank everyone. I want to welcome everyone into this safe space. I want to go ahead and send positive vibes and affirmations and nothing but good intentions your way. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. And if you're simply not interested, hey, blessings all the same. Go ahead and just skip ahead to your next video. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate that a lot, as I am reinventing myself and trying to come back to the YouTube channel space, just providing my story, my truth, my experience to other audiences, and expecting and hoping that somewhere in the light of the information that I provide, there is solace, there is comfort, there's information, and perhaps a call to action for a few of you to go ahead and just live and become the best versions of yourself, or at least attempt to be better every single day, which I myself tend to do, tend to want to aim to do, because not every day is perfect, of course, as we all may understand that. I wanted to start today by reading this quote that I saw on social media. It was very powerful. I was thinking about what kind of content I wanted to put out today, and this really just hit me in all the good and reflective ways. So go ahead and let me read it. So this is at Brown Girl Trauma. This is from them, and it says, prioritize your mental health. Sometimes toxic is just toxic. You have to make a choice. Will I continue catering to the needs of my dysfunctional family/community? Or will I redefine what obligation means to me? Does having an obligation always have to mean a sacrifice of self? Let me read that last question one more time. Does having an obligation always have to mean a sacrifice of self? Now, I don't know who everyone who is watching this video, where their background is from, where their origins are from, or just lived experiences throughout life. But I will share, for me, as a Latina, self-identifying Latina woman of color, being raised in a quote-unquote brown household, there was always this almost, well, it wasn't invisible, but this expectation of women that we have to be polite. We are nurturers. We have to look out for others. We have to provide the nurturing gene, if you will. And not that that's bad, absolutely not. But I think that there's been this shift, right, over the last few years, this empowerment of self, and especially with women. And it's very empowering to know that nowadays it's completely okay to be unapologetic about who you are, where you're at, and what you want to do with your life. But it's also a moment of reflection to think about those relationships that you have been in, or that you've surrounded yourself with, or that have influenced you in your life one way or another. And so going back to this quote, prioritize your mental health. I always say to individuals who ask me, my peace of mind, that is priceless. When I lay my head at my pillow at night and I know I can get a good night's rest, it's because I know that I have left everything out there throughout the day, throughout my life, throughout my experiences, and that when I come to rest, I am completely, entirely at peace. This takes work. It's not easy. And sometimes, like the quote said, toxic is just toxic. So I invite you to really assess the relationships that are around you, to assess the habits that we participate on a daily basis. Are these habits that were imposed upon you? Or are these habits, and sometimes toxic is just toxic, right? Are we agreeing to what these habits are, even if that means that there's a negative atmosphere and negative results and repercussions to who we are and how we function out to the world because of the relationships we have allowed, or that we have not broken from, because who knows who that individual is in our lives. So for example, I absolutely can sympathize and empathize with this quote, because I do come from a family that is immense on love. We're very close. But precisely because we're so close, it could be very toxic and cyclical when it comes to, what's the word that I'm looking for? codependency. So these codependency relationships that are not necessarily healthy. So here an issue, for example, would be not that there's a lack of love, but that there's an influx, there's too much, there's an overwhelming and almost sense of controlling type love that doesn't allow one really to self-reflect and be enlightened about what the individual wants to do with their life. And so going back to the quote, does having an obligation always mean does having an obligation always have to mean a sacrifice of self? And growing up, I know that I was always thinking about my family, what are the expectations, how should I act, how was I taught to act? And as I continued to get older, I've really come into confidence of myself, and also participating in self-love, which is really hard, because if that confidence and that love and that self-nurturing is not there for thyself, then we really allow the room and space to be taken up by someone who maybe on purpose or not on purpose knows that they're taking advantage of that. And so we really need to be advocates of ourselves. We need to be advocates of the relationships and what we demand in relationships, right? There's nothing wrong with demanding a healthy relationship. There's nothing wrong with putting your standards out there and requiring others who are going to be in your circle to rise to the occasion. So I always say, if you're not adding value, if you're not adding something beneficial and positive to my life, hey, nothing against you, but I don't need you in my circle. Because why? Because I love myself. I love me. And I want everyone who's watching this video to love themselves, to take time to get to know yourself over the next few years or whatever time, because you don't really get to know 100% of yourself all the time. You know, we're layers. We're like an onion. Peel us away, and there's so much more to us than what we possibly know, even within ourselves. So this video is short and sweet, just things to think about. Don't self-sacrifice, even if you feel like it's an obligation. If it's an obligation, you shouldn't be doing it anyway, right? Align yourself with things that you believe in, align yourself with things and values and beliefs that really speak true to who you are and what you want to represent in this world. That's it for today, this week. Little snippets and golden nuggets of knowledge, information, and light. So thank you. Have a great day. Blessings to everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.